A skilled assassin named Tokaku Azuma is transferred into Myoujou Academy 10th year's black class, tasked with identifying and killing a target amongst her 12 classmates, the rest of whom are also assassins. At her first homeroom class, consisting of 5 of the total 13 students, Tokaku finds herself drawn towards a kindly girl named Haru Ichinose, believing she may be the target. As Tokaku spends more time with Haru, who is revealed to be her roommate, she notices some knife wounds on her legs. After encountering her various classmates throughout the evening, Tokaku, who had also been tasked by her master, Kaiba, with solving a puzzle reading, "The world is filled with blank," becomes bewildered when Haru suggests forgiveness as an answer. Tokaku Azuma is surprised when Kaiba replies that forgiveness is the correct answer to his riddle. The next school day, as more students join the 10th year's black class, Haru decides to have lunch with Tokaku, whilst the other students hear from Neo Hashiri about a meeting concerning their mission. Later that day, classmate Azuki Inukai comes around to have tea with Haru, slipping her a sleeping drug with the intent of drowning her in the bath while she is asleep. When Tokaku learns from Haruki Sagi that Azuki is targeting Haru, she rushes back to her room to stop Azuki, fighting against her to protect Haru. Azuki overwhelms her after Haru becomes hesitant to kill her, but decides to take her leave. After Tokaku regains consciousness, Haru, who's actually aware of what was happening and knows she's being targeted, asks her why she came to her rescue, stating her determination to graduate from black class alive to honor her family who died protecting her. That night, a meeting is held amongst the other assassins where they are briefed on their mission. Each assassin is given one opportunity to assassinate Haru, and whoever kills Haru first will have any wish they desire granted, with those who fail their assassinations becoming expelled. Upon arriving at the meeting, Tokaku announces that she has defected to Haru's side and will be her protector. With the higher-ups approving of Tokaku Azuma's role as Haru Ichinose's protector, the meeting comes to a close. The next day, Haru receives an advance warning that her life is being targeted and decides not to inform Tokaku, becoming determined to defend herself. Later, as the black class visits a botanical garden, Haru is befriended by Otoya Takichi, unaware that she is the one who sent the warning. Later that night, Tokaku warns Haru not to be so naive and explains the rules concerning her assassination, but Haru states her hopes that the other assassins could legitimately become her friends and none will have to die. The next day, Otoya pretends to thank Haru for giving her a friendship strap and decides to give Haru a return gift. She gives her flowers, which Haru accepts happily. Otoya later reveals that the flowers she gave contain powerful neurotoxins, before trapping Tokaku in a boiler room so that she cannot interfere. Tokaku manages to escape and learns that it wasn't Shiana Kenmochi who sent the advance warning and that it was Otoya. She also learned from the others that Otoya was a serial killer who gets sexual pleasure from killing her victims. As Tokaku manages to reach their location and fight against Otoya, she's almost killed, but is saved when Haru uses the same flowers to knock Otoya unconscious. With her 48-hour time limit coming up the next morning, Otoya is transferred out of the black class by the group's ringleader, Neo Hashiri. As the Myoujou Academy's 10th year black class undergo midterm exams, Tokaku Azuma and Haru Ichinose hear from Chitari Namatami, who is often seen with Hisugi Kirigaya, that she is not targeting Haru, as she joined the black class for a different reason, before later hearing an urban legend from Neo Hashiri about a hidden room in the library. Upon returning to their room, Tokaku and Haru discover another advanced warning, also discovering some bombs have been planted in their freezer. The culprit this time around is Koko Kamanaga, an assassin specializing in explosives who was exiled from her organization NPO after her teacher was killed in a failed bombing attempt, which Kamanaga herself was responsible for, as she had set the timing that the bomb would go off at too early, which killed her teacher instead of their target. Despite knowing the danger, Tokaku accompanies Haru to the library and manages to locate the hidden room for Neo's rumors. There, Tokaku narrowly manages to protect Haru from a hidden bomb and pursues Koko, who wanted to use her wish to quit being an assassin, managing to disarm her and stop her attempt, leading her to be transferred out of the black class the next day. After recalling her past with her family, Tokaku Azuma receives another riddle from Kayaba. Meanwhile, the black class is tasked with putting on a performance of Romeo and Juliet for the Academy's Culture Festival, with Chitaro Namatsume and Hitsugi Kirigaya playing the lead roles. After the classmates work on the play together, Tokaku becomes irritated by Haruki Segai's harsh words towards Haru Ichinose during bath time. The next evening, Haruki, who desires to have her family provided for, calls out Haru to the gym, where the play is being held, attempts to kill her with piano wire, only for Tokaku to arrive in the nick of time. As Tokaku gets the upper hand in battle, Haruki, having confirmed with Neo Hashiri that her family would be provided for, even if she died in the process, triggers a trap that causes the lighting structures to come down on top of them. Tokaku barely manages to rescue Haru in time, whilst Haruki, having barely survived herself, accepts her defeat and is transferred out of the black class. As the culture festival begins, Chitaro Namatsume mentions to Hitsugi Kirigaya how she is searching for a killer known as Angel Trumpet, who specializes in poison, to which Hitsugi offers to help her out. Later that night, Hitsugi comes across Shiina Kenmochi, who is planning to deliver a warning to Haru Ichinose and sprays her with poison before delivering her own warning to Haru when she and Tokaku Azuma comes across the scene. The next day, as Shiina is transferred out of black class due to her hospitalization, the play gets underway, with Tokaku and Haru discovering many of the prop swords have been covered in poison. Spotting this, Chitaru suspects that Haru is Angel Trumpet, the one who killed her teacher's daughter, and faces Tokaku in an offstage sword fight. During the battle, Hatsuki comes forward and confesses that she herself is Angel Trumpet. Returning to the play, Hitsugi allows herself to be stabbed by Chitaru, who then learns from Neo that her wish was to leave with her once everything was over. Feeling remorse, Chitaru drinks the remainder of Hitsugi's poison, dying alongside her whilst the audience remains unaware. As the black class prepares to go to the school's pool, Suzu Shuto straps a bomb around Haru Ichinose's neck, set to explode at midnight. In order to disable it, Tokaku Azuma is tasked with finding 4 cards that make up a 4-digit password required to unlock the bomb, which she is only allowed 3 tries. Tokaku finds the first card, a 7 of diamonds inside a watermelon, but loses her first password attempt whilst testing out a theory that the other digits are 7s taken out of the deck they came from. Tokaku finds the second card, a joker for 0, on a searchlight and finds a third hidden in the deck itself. Meanwhile, after Ataru shows up to congratulate Suzu on her birthday, Suzu explains to the others that she has a condition that prevents her body from aging, which led to a man she admired coming to outage and leave her, and her wish is to be able to age normally and eventually die. With less than 15 minutes, Tokaku rides in the flume in search of the 4th card, but becomes trapped inside a cage that sinks to the bottom, giving the choice of either saving Haru or herself. Haru chooses to save Tokaku by giving her CPR in the form of a kiss, which awakes Tokaku, who then witnesses Haru saving her, leaving them with only 3 digits to guess the password from. Tokaku presumes from Mizurogi Sensei's announcement that the password is likely to be Suzu's birthday. Haru deduces that the actual date is that of the man she admired, managing to disarm the bomb at the last second. Accepting her loss, Suzu takes her leave from the black class. While Azuki and Nukai contacts her mother, who trained her to become an assassin, Neo Hashiri meets up with her superior to discuss the black class's current situation, learning that a typhoon is approaching the area where the Myoujou Academy is located at. Meanwhile, Tokaku Azuma and Haru Ichinose are approached by Shinya Banba, the split personality of Mahiro Banba, who appears only during the night, leading Tokaku to believe that she will be the one next to target Haru. The next day, as Tokaku wonders what she will do when the black class is over, she and Haru discovered an advance warning, which appears to be from Maharu/Shinya, and rush back to their dorms. However, they are confronted by Izuke, the real owner of the warning, who injures Tokaku's arm. Tokaku takes Haru to the biology room, telling her to hide there while she goes to confront Izuke, who calls Tokaku's bluffs that she is actually unable to kill anyone. With Tokaku distracted by her fight against Izuke, Shinya appears before Haru, declaring her intent to kill her. It is shown that Tokaku Azuma's inability to kill came from her aunt, who followed her sister's wishes to not have Tokaku grow up to a killer like the rest of her bloodline. With Tokaku still locked in battle with the Zuki Inukai, Haru Ichinose attempts to escape from Shinya's violent mallet attacks on her own esteem. After receiving another message from Kaiba, Tokaku manages to stun Izuku with the taser hidden in her shoe and escape. However, she falls into a trap laid out by Izuku and is pushed off a bridge. Meanwhile, Haru is chased to the AV room of the school where Izuku uses a projector's light to cause Shinya to experience traumatic memories and knocks her out before turning her attention towards Haru. Tokaku, who had managed to survive the fall, finally comes to understand how her mother and aunt protected her with their lives and overcomes her hesitation, stopping Izuku and rescuing Haru. With both Izuku and Shinya defeated, the remaining classmate, Sumariko Hanabusa, prepares to make her move. With only Tokaku Azuma, Haru Ichinose, Neo Hashiri, and Sumariko Hanabusa remaining in the 10th year's black class, Sumariko gives Haru an invitation to a tea party, claiming it to not be an advance notice. Meanwhile, Otoya Takaichi breaks out of prison and sneaks into the dorms to try and target Haru again, but is stopped by Sumariko, who crushes Otoya's scissors like they were nothing. Later that night, Haru and Tokoka arrive at the party, where they discover robotic puppets of all the other classmates, as well as the restrained Otoya bound and gagged. After explaining how she wants to prove she is a stronger queen than Haru, Sumariko delivers her notice and has her puppets attack Tokaku, giving her a selection of guns to fight against. After being prevented from separating herself from the others to target Haru, Sumariko reveals she has powerful robotic limbs and launches a fierce attack against Haru. In the ensuing battle, Otoya breaks free and manages to disable one of Sumariko's arms, only for her to replace it with another weapon, with Otoya once again captured by Neo. As Tokaku becomes cornered, Haru lures Sumariko away from her and uses her robotic limbs to her own advantage, knocking her off of the side of a building. After receiving another text from Kaiba asking who is the queen, Tokaku asks Haru what Sumariko meant by her words, but Haru simply says it is not the time to tell her yet. With all the other assassins defeated, Neo Hashiri announces there will be an orientation held at midnight, revealing the secret behind the black class, implying that Haru Ichinose already knows something. That night, Tokaku Azuma and Haru arrive at the orientation, where they are greeted by the Myoujou Academy board chairwoman Yuri Michi, who reveals the black class was designed as a test to see if Haru could survive against 12 assassins and become a successor for their clan, who control most of the world. Yuri implies that Haru, consciously or not, allegedly has the power to manipulate and control others into protecting her, which Haru refuses to acknowledge. As Haru runs off in denial, Yuri asks Tokaku to think of a wish she wants to be granted for winning black class. That night, as Tokaku feels she had been manipulated the entire time with no way for Haru to prove otherwise, Kaiba tells her that all of the riddles he had sent her have no right answers, tasking Tokaku with finding her own answers. Meanwhile, after Haru asks Yuri to let her leave the clan and live a normal life, Neo takes her to their clan cemetery, which Myoujou Academy was built upon, giving her some time to reflect on things. After spending time with her family's grave, Haru is approached by Tokaku, who delivers her own advance notice and draws her sword against her. As Tokaku Azuma begins her attack, Haru Ichinose is suddenly dragged off by another Tokaku, who claims that the other Tokaku is actually Neo Hashiri, using hypnotic suggestions to take on her appearance. The two Tokakus soon battle against each other, with the real Tokaku managing to overcome her fake and stab her. Haru then charges against the Tokaku to test whether Tokaku was acting of her own will when she helped Haru survive against the other assassins throughout the school year, as opposed to being influenced by Haru's Queen Bee ability. But Haru ends up being stabbed herself, confirming that Tokaku had helped Haru survive of her own will. However, Tokaku is devastated, feeling that the one wish she has can no longer be granted if Haru is dead. During all that time, the happenings were being observed by the Myoujou Academy's chairwoman, Yuri Michi Sensei. At the end of the school year comes, it is revealed that both Haru and Neo had survived their attacks, with Haru becoming the sole graduate of the 10th year's black class. With all the other assassins returning to their regular lives, Tokaku sends one last reply to Kaiba before joining Haru in delivering everyone's diplomas. After the credits, Kaiba receives a text message and smiles, though the contents themselves are not revealed.